Hi, welcome to everyone who just joined. This is a 30-minute elementary formative webinar, so very excited to have you. I'll go ahead and start getting through some of our housekeeping items before we really jump into the content here. Again, welcome. We're very excited to have you today. During this webinar, if you would like to follow along on Formative, please go ahead and head to formative.com, click on login in the top right-hand corner, and go ahead and log in if you already have an account. If you don't have an account, you can click on that Try Formative. It's free. It is a free account, so feel free to create an account if you don't already have one. So a little bit about me. My name is Elisa. I'm very excited to be with you on this Wednesday morning. I'm a success manager here at Formative. I was a high school Spanish teacher for 8 years, but my degree is in K-12 Spanish, so I do have some experience in elementary. I live in Philadelphia, and outside of work, I do love to travel when it's possible. So some things today that we're going to cover is reading aloud and how you can read aloud, how your students can read aloud. We're going to talk about show your work, the free response question type, and audio response question types. These are all question types that really help elementary kids show their skills and what they can do. Okay. Some things to know, this webinar will be recorded and posted later on the training center, okay? It'll be about 30 minutes long. I'll probably have some time at the end for some Q&A. Please put your questions in the chat. I do have a colleague in here who is ready to help out in the chat when needed, and I'll also check that out as I go along. Okay, so let's dive in. We're actually going to head straight into Formative. We're just going to start talking question types. Okay, so let me head to formative.com, right, and go to my dashboard. If you've never been in Formative before, this is your dashboard, and it's kind of your command center. So you have all of your formatives and your folders on the left. You have your classes across the top, and you might have some grades and things in here if you've assigned a formative before. So I'm going to create a new formative by clicking on this plus new formative. And actually, let me make my screen bigger for you. There we go. So plus new formative. And that brings you to our editor. If you've never been in our formative editor before, it's a nice blank space for you to create your assignments and assessments. First thing that you're going to want to do is give it a title. We always tell kids to put their names on their papers. Well, let's make sure we title our formatives. They tend to get lost. And if you don't title it, this untitled formative with a number will stick. So I'm going to title this Elementary Webinar. Today's 10-6. Just give it a nice simple title so that you can find it later. Another thing about this instruction block is that if you click on that down arrow, you can add instructions. So today we will cover ... and you can give your objectives for the day, what your students will be doing. You can include, if you highlight this, it gives you some rich text editing. So you can actually change the color here. You can bold and underline. You can actually include a link here as well. So if you have a resource you want your students to use, you can put that right here in this instruction box. Okay, so first things first, I want to click on this blue bouncing plus sign that gives us our question types. Depending on if you have a premium account with your school or that you're paying for, this might look a little bit differently from the free account. The free account might not have all of the options here, but what we cover will mostly be covered in the free account, okay? So first thing I want to note is video. So we just added a brand new feature that is pretty awesome. And if you have videos that you've been using in class, so I'm going to pull in a YouTube link. about the planets, and I'm going to click Add Video. So you could add questions to videos before informative. However, now you can timestamp those questions. So we can, from this, say at 44 seconds, let's move this up a little bit. So let's pause it there. So if I want to add a question at the 30-second mark, I can add item here. And I can add any of my question types. So I'm actually going to do a short answer here. And I'm going to make this name a planet in our solar system. Okay, so a nice easy question there. What's great, especially for elementary students, if you need to make an accommodation for students who are having difficulty reading or anything else, you have this blue plus sign here that you can click on that blue plus sign and you can add audio. So I'm going to add audio and I'm going to say, name a planet in our solar system. So let me add that. That way I have the audio of me saying that question along with the written question in case students need those accommodations. To add correct answers to that, all you have to do is add a correct answer here. Okay. If you wanted to, you could add all of the planets here so that it would autocorrect. Okay. You can allow partial match. So what partial match does here is basically just says, if a student is amazing and puts like Earth is a planet, it would be marked as correct. So you can allow partial match. If you are working on cases with your students, you can definitely make this case sensitive so that if they don't capitalize, they're not going to get the point. You can also toggle on show your work, which we'll talk about later. Okay. So again, that just shows you that you can add that audio to any question type. And so if I go to add another question at 225, let's do a multiple choice question, right? I can say, what is the hottest planet? And again, I can add that audio here, okay? All right, so that is our new tool with adding your time-stamped videos and your question choices here. Next, we're going to take a look at that show your work question type. This is a pretty powerful question type. And it's right here. So we're going to click show your work. Now, what I'm going to do is I want my students to practice their handwriting. So I'm going to edit this background. And when I do that, I have a bunch of tools over here on the left-hand side. I can choose to kind of scribble. I can choose shapes. There's a math keyboard here that I can add, but I'm actually going to delete those. And here I can add an image or a PDF. So I'm going to upload a document. And I'm going to go to my documents, go to my training materials. And I have this PDF that for students to work on their handwriting. It will convert, you can upload up to 20 pages of a PDF at a time. Obviously, the longer it is, the longer it takes. So let me add that image. And now this is on the background of this screen. So I set this. I'm going to click on this blue check mark. And now it's set. So if you aren't sure what your students are able to see, you can always click on this eyeball up in the top right-hand corner. And that gives you a student preview, either in mobile, as a tablet, or as a laptop. And this lets you see exactly what your students see. So here are those questions that go with the video. And you can see the audio here. Okay, so that is there. Yes, students can use the iPad pen. So that's what I was just about to get to. So when they get to this show your work, you can click on this and it says practice handwriting. So it gives them the instructions here. And then they have the ability to write on this. So if they have like the Chromebook tablets with the touch screen, if they have iPads with a touch screen, they are able to, they can trace these. Right. And I'm doing this with my mouse right now, so bear with me. But they can definitely work on it this way. So that is one way that you can use to have them kind of annotate over those PDFs that you have them practicing writing on. Okay. And honestly, if they wanted to, there is a text here. So if they want to put their name here, they can put their name on it. But they can use that scribble tool for writing over that. You could add more instructions like circle the vowels, and have them annotate that. So that's always fun as well. One thing to note, when students are finished writing over top of this, that they can click on this blue check mark and that saves their work. Okay. Okay, so that was one part of Show Your Work for practicing handwriting. This can be used, I'm actually going to add another one and show you. For Show Your Work, edit background. And we're going to take a look at, oh, I actually take that back. We're going to go to a different question type. Sorry about that. Okay, so go back to my formative. And if you have another PDF that you want to use, because a lot of us do, you can enhance a PDF doc, image, Google Doc. We all have these stories of worksheets that we've been using for years, and you don't have to get rid of them with this. So I'm going to upload this document, and I'm going to upload this PDF. And it's converting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add this reading passage. Now I can do so many things with this reading passage. Okay, so I can work on reading comprehension questions and give them a free response question that says, what happened at the beginning, middle, and end of this story? Okay, and again, I can record myself saying this. And so what this does with free response is a great question. So let me actually take you back to that student preview and I can show you. All right, so free response used to be our essay question, but it's so much more than that. So this gives you a bigger space than just your short answer does. And students can definitely start typing here in the story, blah, blah, blah. Students have the ability to change the colors. They can bold things. They can do bullet points if you want them to make a bulleted list of what happened. But also what they can do is you can tell them, they can tell you however they want to what happened in the story. So the students themselves have that same blue plus sign. So they can upload a video, right? They can record themselves telling you what the story was about, kind of recounting it, okay? They can also take an image. So if they draw an image of what happens in the story, they can take a photo of it like this and add it to their answer here. So there are so many options that they can do with these free response questions. So again, they have image, they have video, they have audio. They can just tell you if they're having a hard time typing, they can use that audio response and just tell you what they think. Okay. So that is the free response question. Okay. So, and just as a note, the recording of themselves is a premium feature. If you have a free account, you don't have access to that. Okay. Another premium feature that I just want to note on is the audio response. So if you are working on reading fluency with your students and you really want a clear reading record for them, you can say, please read the passage. And students will record their audio response. You could very easily make this a video response as well and actually have them record themselves reading it. But if you just need the audio, you can say, please read the passage. And then on their end, what this looks like is please read the passage. And it prompts them to record their audio response just like it did for me. Okay. You have the ability to download and change playback speed and do things there as well. Okay. I'm going to stop here because I just did a lot of things pretty quickly. Does anyone in the chat have any questions or anything that I can expand on? Feel free to drop them in there. Okay, not seeing. Cool. Okay, no problem at all. Another awesome kind of premium feature that we have is using the matching. Okay, this matching tool is pretty fun. And a great question type to use with this would be something like match the dollar amount with the coin. So I can come in here and I can say 25 cents. And then what I want to put over here for matching is actually an image. And I can search Google Images. These are safe searches. I'm going to search for a quarter. And here's my quarter. I'm going to add that image so that students will have to match that up. So I can add 0, 10, and then also add here, go to image and do a dime. Okay, and then I can grab that dime image. And I can resize it in here because obviously that doesn't look great, right? Your dime does not need to be bigger than your quarter. So you can come here and resize it, make it smaller. And then we'll do a penny as well. And the same thing, add image. And let's do penny. All right, so there are my options. And I want students to match them. So what this looks like on their end, go back to that student preview. And here it is. So you take this and match it up and drag those around. All right. Cool. We do have some time here for questions if anyone wants to drop anything in there. But a lot of this is very, very usable in elementary school. Okay. Let's go to a math question. Okay. Let's do a geography because I do want to show you something for share your work. So let me X out of previewing as a student. And we'll go back up to the show your work questions. So if you're working on some basic geography with your students and you want to say, circle Texas, star New York. Okay, I'm going to edit my background again. And I'm going to go back to this image. And I'm actually just going to search Google Images again for a map of the United States. Okay. Give that a second. And here's a nice blank map of the United States. I'm going to add the image and I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, that way my students have plenty of space to work on here. I'm going to click this check and that sets it as the background. So let me go to the student preview again. Right. And so this is what students will see now. See, show your work. Their instructions are over here. So they can actually change the background color. If I want red, they can change the line thickness. The opacity can also be changed, and that's great for underlining or highlighting. Okay. So I'm going to take that circle and I'm going to circle here. And then I'm going to scribble and do that. Okay. I have the ability to move those items. I can select, I can move things, okay? And I can also erase items. I have to check on that, but you can erase items. Okay. All right, so that is the end of what I have to show you for elementary students, but I am here for the next few minutes to answer any questions that you might have. If you'd like to see anything else, I'm happy to do so. Please just let me know. But other than that, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it.